Welcome to the Green Roofs and Walls of the World Virtual Summit 2013. I'm Linda Velazquez, and I'm here in Alpharetta, Georgia. And my friend over there.
I'm Haven Kiers, and I'm here in sunny Davis, California.
Well, this is our 6th year of compiling our top 10 list. And since we're just at the beginning of 2013, we're going to show you our 2012 top 10 list of hot trends in green roof and green wall design, plus a look into 2013. So Haven, why don't you go ahead and tell the folks about how we go about selecting our projects?
Well, Linda, we search the world high and wide to find our projects.
Yes, we do.
Leave really no stone unturned. So let me give you a little bit of background, and for the folks watching. We do a lot of research on blogs. We do a lot of searching on internets. Google plays a major role in trying to find the projects. We like to give high fives to our friends, people that we know have done projects, and we definitely want to highlight them. Within that, it's just a matter of what stands out for us. We want things that are a little more exciting, not the projects that you typically see, but ones that have that wow factor.
That's right. Yes. So before we get into the real top 10 list, as usual, we're going to show you some projects that for some reason or another just couldn't make it into our top 10 for 2012. We hope you enjoy.
These are some of our gems.
Deriving from Arabic patterns, to implement a facility to protect against and inform of the implication of natural disasters, the facade here is manipulated to filter natural daylight. But if you ask me, the off-kilter cube of a building looks like it might just go rolling onto the adjacent green roof at any moment. Now here's a temporary structure within one of the few public squares of Bahrain. This is certainly a different kind of green roof, with the palm fronds emerging through the roof structure of sheer fabric. Well, maybe that's a new upcoming trend, but for now it looks a little bit flimsy if you ask me.
All right, our number 10 category is client-specific boutique green roofs. This category is a perennial favorite of ours. Here, we can let down our hair, throw out our rigid system of categorization, and simply highlight the projects that we think deserve to be seen. This is our catch-all category for those projects that are just too unique.
The proposed bionic arch by Vincent Calavat Architecture is designed to use living walls to convert smog to oxygen. At 380 meters tall and with zero carbon emissions, it will respect the environment and add to the biodiversity of Taiwan. The Department of Homeland Security and the U.S. Coast Guard are consolidating their headquarters at St. Elizabeth's campus, which was formerly a government-run hospital for the insane. The project, which is currently in construction, will have more than 400,000 square feet of green roofs. This slide shows one of the newly planted roofs in November of 2011. Due to the variety of plants ranging from shrubs to grasses to cedar mats, there are 4 different soil blends on the project. Phase 1 is scheduled to be completed in 2013, Phase 2 in 2014, and Phase 3 is projected to be done by 2016. This project hopes to transform public spaces in Mexico City by combining innovation, art, urban planning, and social interaction with the natural production of oxygen. Although most of the plans have survived, not all of the sculptures have done so well, but organizers are learning from their mistakes and plan to continue their city greening efforts. The new U.S. headquarters of Porsche in Atlanta combine a training and driving facility into one sleek green-roofed building. The course winds in and out of the building, providing views of the lush greenery above. The green roof on the Nashville Music City Center was designed to mimic the rolling hills of Tennessee and has undulating surfaces with pitches ranging from 16 to 25%. The center, which is still under construction, but should be finished in the beginning of this year, is working to achieve LEED Silver. A 360,000-gallon cistern will store rainwater from the roof and then be used to irrigate landscaping and flush the toilets. Noah's Ark is just one of the many entries in the Evolo skyscraper competition to utilize green roofs. The sustainable floating city incorporates terraced greens for use in recreation and food production.
Number 9 is green museums, art living inside and out. Increasingly, museum architects are looking towards nature for inspiration, incorporating vegetation into both the inner and outer skins of their buildings. and topping their roofs with a naturalistic nod to Mother Nature.
The winner of a 2011 design competition, this proposal for the new Taipei City Museum looks like a corkscrew covered in greenery. Visitors are encouraged to explore exhibitions along both the indoor and outdoor levels. This diagram highlights the juxtaposition between green space and the building facade. The LEED Gold Los Angeles Museum of the Holocaust blends discreetly in with the park that surrounds it. The green roof plants and grasses require little irrigation, and the growing medium, which is rich in pumice, provides superior insulation. Velazquez architects skillfully combine the desire of the client for an iconic building and their own wish to use underground space. At this museum, a decommissioned blast furnace and brownfield site was transformed into a modern history museum dedicated to the area's rich history of steel production. The design emphasizes the physical profile of the 70-meter furnace structure while complementing the modern design of the new structures. The use of green roofs over the museum, the largest of its kind in Latin America, helps to reduce the visual impact of the new buildings. The planting pattern recalls the flame emitted from the historic blast furnace. 3 drought-tolerant sedum species are planted without irrigation. German architects Schneider and Schumacher have completed an underground gallery that creates a bulge beneath the lawn of the Stadel Museum in Frankfurt. Almost 200 circular skylights arranged in a grid on the lawn let light filter into the exhibition hall below, while the artificial hill creates a domed central ceiling.
Number 8 is an educational facilities as green living laboratories. The last time we focused on schools was in 2008. Since then, the trend has exploded. Architects around the globe are capturing this sentiment with green roofs and green walls designed specifically for students and faculty interaction.
The new assembly, performing arts space and classroom building at the Drew School is among the first high school buildings in the Bay Area to attain LEED Gold for new construction and for school pilots. Green features include an external 3.5-story, 1,720 square foot living wall / vertical garden by Patrick Blanc, a 2,630 square foot living roof by Rana Creek, recycled and sustainable USGBC certified materials, and environmental sensors. The wall contains 105 different plant species, 64 of which are native to the San Francisco Bay Area. At 70,000 square feet, the new Duke University Nicholas School of the Environment building will include a green roof, solar hot water and photovoltaic systems, gray water and rainwater recycling for toilets and irrigation, and natural lighting. Other sustainable features in the 5-story glass and concrete building include a chilled beam system for air conditioning and a thermal corridor that provides natural insulation for offices and laboratories. Up on the roof of the building, a photovoltaic trellis provides shade, and all of the plantings are edible. The Ray and Dagmar Dolby Regeneration Medicine Building at the University of California, San Francisco is designed by Raphael Vignoli Architects. Green roof terraces provide outdoor and recreational space for the people that work in this stem cell building. The Interactive Museum of the History of Logo exhibits objects, images, and films that illustrate the historic Roman city and province. In the words of the architects, we propose a museum park or a park museum, which will be linked to the sequence of green areas in the city, hiding the parking areas underground and emerging in a constellation of cylindrical lanterns scattered throughout a continuous green field. The Interactive Museum exhibits objects, images, and films that illustrate the historic Roman city and province. Milkane Hall, the new 25,000 square foot flexible studio space at Cornell College of Architecture, Art, and Planning, also known as AAP, in upstate New York, was opened in October 2011 for students. Enclosed by floor-to-ceiling glass and a green roof with 41 skylights, this upper plate cantilevers almost 50 feet over University Avenue to establish a relationship with the Foundry, a third existing AAP facility. The 26,000 square foot roof is a sedum-covered green roof punctuated by a cluster of skylights which gradually increase in size. 2 different types of sedum create a pattern of dots across the roof.
For number 7, we have upward spirals of green. A green roof and a corkscrew may not have much in common at first glance, but this trend proves that 2 seemingly disparate designs can fuse together quite elegantly. This typology encourages visitors to gaze out at the landscape, recreate along the sloping curves, and reflect upon one's own circuitous path.
The Marina Barrage is a dam in Singapore built at the confluence of 5 rivers across the Marina Channel, the first reservoir in the city. The reservoir boosts Singapore's water supply, alleviates flooding in low-lying areas, and provides a new lifestyle attraction and venue for recreational activities. Marina Barrage is a premier tourist destination and event stage and is a showpiece of environmental sustainability. It won the BCA Green Mark Platinum Award in 2009. With its green roof the size of 4 football fields, the public can enjoy a panoramic view of Singapore's city skyline and open sea. The Express Link West Kowloon Terminus will be the largest underground facility of its kind, and the above-ground area will be left for nature as parks. Features include arching fins and abundant natural daylighting, along with pedestrian paths and spiraling green roofs. The terminus will function more like an international airport than a rail station with 15 tracks. Even a green wall is located inside. On top of the green roof structure, there will be a vegetated sculpture garden, an extension of the green below. The Express Terminus will culminate with an observation deck on top. The elegant structure known as the Shanghai Tower spirals up to the sky, and once it is completed in 2014, it will become the second tallest tower in the world. It features numerous green systems, including geothermal system for heating and air conditioning, wind turbines, and communal sky gardens throughout its height. 9 cylindrical buildings are stacked on top of each other, enclosed by layers of glass. Public spaces for visitors include atriums, gardens, cafes, restaurants, retail space, a hotel, and 360-degree views of the city. Designers are hoping the tower will achieve LEED Platinum certification. And the stated goal of the Shanghai Tower is to be the most sustainable super tall tower in the world.
Number 6. Hospitals healing through living architecture. The role a garden can play in the healing process should not be underestimated. These welcoming hospital green roofs offer respite for patients, families, and staff members in an otherwise typically sterile environment.
The focus at the Mary Catherine Bunting Center was to create a very flexible facility to create healing benefits for patients and staff. Mercy installed 17,500 square foot of green roofs, totaling about $1 million in 3 different locations. The 3 eco-friendly rooftop meditation gardens are found on the 8th, 9th, and 10th floors. Covering half the roof surface, the gardens provide a respite for patients, families, and staff members in an otherwise very urban environment. The rooftop gardens feature recycled furnishing materials, native plantings, and a water feature. A planted trellis creates a green facade buffer for patient room privacy, as well as providing additional vertical garden space. Based on the notion that patients should be treated like guests of the hospital, the chic medical facility will feature special amenities, such as retail stores, restaurants, cafes, indoor trees, courtyards, and hanging gardens to provide a tranquil experience for patients and their families and create a home away from home atmosphere. The hospital's main circulation corridor will be home to a network of green roofs and hanging gardens. Rooftop solar collectors and simple fabric scrims will shade the main garden level, which is lush with vegetation to create a cooler microclimate. Natural daylighting, ventilation, and sun shading will all work in conjunction to passively improve the conditions of the space, while the hanging gardens, public courtyards, and terraces will infuse nature into the site. The USP Sacred Heart Hospital's objective was to create a warm and cozy environment for the health of patients and staff by ameliorating and beautifying the environment. To that end, they built walls that were designed on the notion that views of vegetation can help patients recover more quickly. Design inspiration came from Roberto Burley Mark's Suspended Garden roof garden. Irrigation is achieved entirely by remote control. In 2011, this Florida Labyrinth roof garden, originally built in 2001, was in need of repair and renovation from the roof membrane up. Today, the new garden serves as an integral part of the Cancer Center's unique integration of meditation into their cancer therapy. Every element lends itself to contemplation. Quiet shaded alcoves for one-to-one patient-therapist discussions, 3 fountains linked by a rock-lined dry creek bed, and the ever-present labyrinth used as a tool to instruct patients about finding their way through crisis of spiritual growth. This landmark development including 8 roof gardens, 5 levels of corridor plantings, and 81 balcony planter boxes, provides beautiful garden spaces for patients' healing. Truly an example of a hospital within a garden. Patients and guests weave through terraced levels, discovering private niches and trellised alcoves for reflective solace, or enjoying the company of family and friends. With landscape footprints at every floor, this is truly a healing environment and self-sustaining garden.
In the number 5 position for 2013, we have Gardens in the Clouds, stacking and stepping with vegetation. Ground level gardens are so 20th century. Why restrict yourself to an earthbound plane? How about minimizing a building's footprint, thereby reducing the ecological impact on the surrounding city through vertical stacking and horizontal greening? This stacked green-roofed multi-use high-rise proposed in Armenia features a Jenga-like tower with staggered block floors covered in vegetation. And coming from high-class Mercedes-Benz, we'd expect no less that their business center includes other sustainable features like solar power, rainwater collection, gray water recycling, and geothermal heating and cooling. Here in Chongqing, the hillside housing offers steps for open sky terraces, taking full advantage of the beautiful rugged topography. And shading devices and solariums extend the seasons and also protect from the hot summer sun. Built for a couple and one of their mothers, this building is 20 meters deep but just 4 meters wide, which is pretty typical of the narrow but long tube houses common in Vietnam. A dozen layers of concrete planters span between the side walls to cover the front and back facades. And they're stacked according to the height of the plants. A simple rooftop garden provides shelter from the noise and pollution of the streets below. Another project in China shows high-density residential beachfront units, which as a complex has both private and public sky gardens. This overhead graphic beautifully illustrates the terracing effect used on 50% of the units. Green roofs are placed atop the parking deck, the 15th and 30th floors, and the private stacked units. Chinese guidelines on daylight hours guided the careful orientation of the structure and led to multiple orientation and cross ventilation designs. Number 4 is sky farms on the high-rise. In a world increasingly dominated by cities, implementation of leafy green infrastructure, such as green roofs and green walls, can deliver multiple social, economic, and environmental benefits. And urban agriculture, especially on roofs and walls, is just so darn hip right now. Brooklyn Grange in Queens is New York City's first commercial rooftop farm. They currently have 2 locations and have sold over 40,000 pounds of vegetables to restaurants, CSA members, and directly to the public via weekly farm stands. Started by Ben Flanner with a team of 4 partners and friends, Brooklyn Grange is a privately owned and operated enterprise. Community-oriented, they're open to the public. Planting bed depths range from 7.5 to 12 inches. The second rooftop farm was recently planted at the Brooklyn Navy Yards. Between the 2 locations, Brooklyn Grange has over 2 acres of rooftop under cultivation. It was funded by the DEP's Green Infrastructure Stormwater Management Initiative. Green Living Technologies International has been producing food since 2006, providing 0 miles farming. Founder George Irwin collaborated with former Bronx teacher and administrator Steve Ritz of Discovery High School several years ago to provide full-scale green living wall and roof training to some of the most underprivileged students from the poorest congressional district in the U.S. The MU, or Mobile Edible Unit, resulted from class applications and has the potential to be implemented at any scale. You can learn about this system in the Skyrise Ad collaborative video with George Irwin. It grows everything. Data shows the high yields possible per square foot of real estate. Operating since 2008, Farm Roof follows the principles of community-supported agriculture, or CSA, a national movement that has developed over the past 2 decades as a way for consumers to buy local food directly from farmers. Its first commercial rooftop garden was planted in 2011 atop a local restaurant. Farm Roof is working with Kamehameha schools and the community to create a vibrant environment. You can learn about the system in the Skyrise Ag collaborative video with Alan Joaquin. Last November, Farm Roof signed a deal to sell its greens at Whole Foods stores on Oahu and Maui. The public can sign up at their website to receive delivery. Uncommon Ground in Chicago is the first certified organic rooftop farm in the nation, and they were named greenest restaurant in the country for implementing 116 environmental steps, making them a 4-star certified green restaurant in 2011. The restaurant produces no waste, powers its vehicle with used fryer oil, harnesses the sun to heat their water, and feeds customers with locally sourced, sustainably produced products, as well as from their own rooftop farm. It grows everything from raspberries to zucchini, parsley to rosemary, and has generated 317 kilos of ingredients last year. Make sure to watch Helen Cameron, as she too is part of the Skyrise Ag collaborative video. Lufa Farms is a Quebec-based urban farming enterprise that harvests fresh vegetables, herbs, and fruits in rooftop greenhouses. The company created the world's first commercial-scale rooftop greenhouse farm in 2010 atop an office building in Montreal. In its first year of operation, the farm produced more than 250 tons of fresh produce grown using no unnatural herbicides, pesticides, or fungicides. Produce is harvested the same day it's delivered. We're very pleased to have founder Mo Haig also on our Skyrise Ag collaborative video. The International Center of Excellence for Urban Agriculture is a prototype for urban farming, and it's a living laboratory to test new growing technologies currently being built in Sweden. It relies on a transportation helix system where trays of plants are grown, irrigated, and harvested from the top of the plant scraper on down to the basement. The glass facade faces the south, and the building will be 54 meters high. The greenhouse will be ready for food production in 2014. At number 3, we have Singapore, a city within a sky garden. Ah, beautiful Singapore, how do you do it? Since 1968, policies and plans have been created to support the vision of former Prime Minister Lee Kuan Yew, and now sky gardens blanket the skyline, while green walls race up the sides of buildings, and today's Singapore is a model of sustainable design. The world's most expensive standalone casino integrated resort hotel is also an engineering marvel at 650 feet high with 55 floors. The Marina Bay Sands' most striking feature is its 65-meter-long cantilevered edge, which supports the 12,400 square meter Greenroof Sky Park, which has a capacity of 3,900 people. And just because I can, I'm going to show you some stunning photos. Here's a section. What a view of the Singapore skyline. We were there in 2010 and it's just amazing. And here is its very famous 50-meter-long Infinity Edge swimming pool by Safdie Architects and Arup. The property also has quite a few green walls located inside and outside on the main floor. And here's a lovely night view. Universal Studios Singapore, an integral part of Resorts World Sentosa, is a casino resort. The massive green roofs substantially return the green space originally at the site before construction of the park. Additionally, they provide an insulating shield against intense tropical temperatures, helping to cool building interiors and their immediate surroundings, mitigating the urban heat island effect, as well as contributing aesthetically to the ambience of the park. And here's a really cool overview. The green facade at the Singapore Changi Airport Terminal 3 is beautiful and massive at 4,144 square meters. It consists of more than 10,000 plants and 25 species of climbers. The plants are grown on stainless steel cables secured to the infrastructure system, and each cable is removable in case there's a need to replace plants individually. The living tapestry separates the landside check-in and the airside lounges from each other, and they're separated by 4 water features. Occasional misting helps to regulate the internal temperature of the terminal. Also in Terminal 3 is a gorgeous butterfly garden with plenty of interior greenscaping for passengers to enjoy. Reflections at Keppel Bay rises like an ascending symphony of chords, with its soaring towers and low-rise, villa-styled apartment blocks. The alternating heights and double curvature of the towers create a unique interplay of changing light planes and reflecting angles, presenting a spectacular sight at every turn. The 6 sky towers and 11 fan-shaped villa apartment blocks comprise luxurious apartments and penthouses. The towers are crowned with open-air sky gardens and connect the towers while providing additional outdoor space for residents. It's just beautiful at night. The Hanging Garden in CBD was the first place winner of the Singapore Skyrise Greenery Awards in 2011. An existing 14-story building, the task was to provide an attractive facade and create a lively and inviting atrium space overlooked by most office floors. This fusion of art and nature has a 900mm gap between glass sheets, enabling the atrium to be naturally ventilated. Resulting in a seamless integration of architecture, the facade design has a hanging garden that is highly transparent and visible at night. The green columns are strategically placed to visually penetrate the glass floors and link the 7-story hanging garden to the road and pavement levels below. The area of the 13,000 potted plants in these green walls or columns actually represent 135% of the atrium floor plate area, with another 70 square meters of hanging plants in horizontal planter beds. Number 2 is green elevated walks, bridges, railways, and promenades. City officials have realized that when site conditions are tough, raise it up and green it. So goes the mantra behind our number 2 trend, featuring elevated walkways. And of course, cover them with a layer of vegetation, and voila, instant green. The former Osaka baseball stadium was redeveloped into a huge retail and office compound, which also acts as a public park. Namba Park's 8-level rooftop garden spans several city blocks. It also features tree groves, rock clusters, cliffs and canyons, lawns, streams, waterfalls, ponds, and even space to grow vegetables. The gradually descending 8 levels of lush vegetation connect back to the street, welcoming passers-by to enjoy the commercial center in a park setting. The Ponte Parodi is a residential, retail, and cultural center designed to attract visitors and residents back to Genoa's harbor. The 3-story, 130,000 square meter waterfront public venue offers a series of elevated promenades and green-roofed areas for recreation. The 3-dimensional piazza contains an amphitheater, cruise terminal, cafes, restaurants, sports fields, and beaches accessible through carved-out corridors and the rooftop park, all while emphasizing views of Genoa and its alpine setting. Cross towers are tall residential towers in the Yongsun International Business District designed to revitalize the Han waterfront into a new commercial and residential center for the citizens of Seoul. The signature building will contribute to the developing skyline and become a recognizable marker of the new cultural and commercial center of the city. Interlocking horizontal and vertical towers are connected by 3 public green bridges at 140 and 70-meter heights and at street level. Both the upper and lower bridges introduce rooftop sky gardens accessible to residents. The bridges will be landscaped and equipped for a variety of activities traditionally restricted to the ground. And it's actually a multi-dimensional pound shape. Sky Habitat in Singapore is a high-rise apartment, but in many ways it's also a house. Each unit boasts a private garden or outdoor space that opens up to the sky. The graphic here shows the sky bridge connections and various activities and functions on each. Very idyllic, but very high up. Here you can see the rooftop lap pool on top, also by Safdie Architects. And in our number 1 position for the 2012 Top 10 list of hot trends in green roof and green wall design, we have Chicago's trend-setting style a miracle mile high city of plants and leadership. The Windy City, birthplace of the now ubiquitous skyscraper, has something else to be proud of, the green roof, and its up-and-coming cousin, the green wall. No other American city has so confidently and definitively embraced the vegetexture concept. Thank you for guiding North America down this green path of enlightenment. We've got to acknowledge the one that started it all, Chicago City Hall. Recently elected Chicago Mayor Rahm Emanuel has some big shoes to fill after Mayor Daley's vision for greening the Windy City. City Hall has about 20,000 plants with over 150 species, including shrubs, vines, and 2 trees. It's beautiful and lush as seen from the surrounding high-rise buildings. Chicago's beautiful Millennium Park is home to the famous Cloud Gate or bean sculpture, J. Pritzker Pavilion, Lurie Garden, and the crown fountain that spouts water from its digital faces. One of the top 2 or 3 largest green roofs in the world, it sits at grade over a massive parking garage. The award-winning Gary Comer Youth Center is a shining example of a comprehensive educational program located in one of Chicago's poorest neighborhoods. It demonstrates a commitment to its community by providing a constructive environment for area youths ages 8 to 18 to spend their after-school hours. With a 24-inch depth of soil, children can plant and harvest vegetables, fruits, flowers, herbs, and grasses in the green roof. It creates a hospitable microclimate in the rooftop courtyard with average temperatures between 20 to 30 degrees Fahrenheit warmer on the roof in winter and 10 degrees cooler in the summer. The Youth Center enriches a diverse educational platform with approximately 600 students and community members ages 8 to 80 plus, who all participate in the garden learning programs and activities throughout the year. One of the tallest buildings in Chicago, the Aqua, is a $4 billion development. The 82-story mixed-use residential skyscraper is located in the Lakeshore East development in downtown Chicago, designed in the modern architectural style. Each floor of the 82-story tower has an architectonic facade of sensuously swerving white concrete balconies. Each floor plate is uniquely different, designed to remind viewers of the limestone outcroppings along the Great Lakes. As of September 2011, the skyscraper was the tallest building in the world to be designed by a woman, Jean Gang. Here you see the beautiful fire pit amidst grasses and the lovely night lighting. The Navy Pier is the Midwest's #1 family attraction and needs some attention. James Corner Field Operations team will redesign the 3,000-foot-long Chicago landmark along Lake Michigan. The project is an important part of the city's broader centennial vision, which calls for developing new entertainment spaces and asking local museums to create new cultural spaces on the pier. This is how Pier Park might look, becoming the fun room. The winning proposal aims to create a sensory-based lakeside experience that will reactivate engagement and enjoyment of the water. Here's some proposed graphics. And the Crystal Gardens will become the spectacular magic room, with celebrated botanist Patrick Blanc designing the green walls and hanging vegetation. And we'll end the 2012 list appropriately with the Navy Pier at night with fireworks. So that's it for our top 10 categories and projects for 2012, and we certainly hope you enjoyed them.
So here's a look into what we have in store for you for 2013. Get ready.
Currently under construction in Milan, the towering Bosco Verticale is a 27-story structure designed as a vertical forest in the city. Here you see some construction photos and how they're bringing up the trees. The design of the Bosco Verticale is a response to both urban sprawl and the disappearance of nature from our lives and on the landscape. Commissioned through a design competition, the Office Complex for Delhi Pollution Control Committee acts as an urban sponge, feeding on polluted air and water of its microclimate, and gives out clean air and water back to the environment. Multiple passive and active systems coexist, supporting each other to make it work. Roof gardens are built as intermediate open spaces throughout for shading and cleansing of the air. The vertical green walls greatly help in the oxygen exchange. The sewage treatment plant turns black water into gray, and the final byproduct is used to bring alive all the landscape planned as terrace gardens and green walls. The Victorian desalination project is set in an ecologically sensitive area which will become a revegetated native parkland, including the extensive green roof, which minimizes its visual impact on the site. The living roof has 98,000 native plants. The aerial photo on top gives you an idea of its massive scale. The slope here varies from about 1 to 22%. For a regional chamber of commerce and industry in France, architects created a daylighted and vegetative extension to a local town hall. Is it a roof? Is it a wall? Well, I can tell you for sure that it's covered in plants. It sits among a green plinth that connects the original building, the new construction, and the adjacent gardens. The living wall engulfs the southern elevation with various panoramic glazing breaking through at different levels. A charming mingling of the old and new. Marina Lofts in Fort Lauderdale will house 1,000 rental apartments, 10,000 square feet of restaurants, and 25,000 square feet of retail. It will also preserve the on-site boating with its crazy crack that appears to split the building in two. It aims to revitalize the river park, adding density and life to the scenic setting. It's designed by big architects. As part of the redevelopment of Rio de Janeiro for the upcoming 2016 Games, the 5 slender plant-infused Trump Towers will contribute to the development of the port area of Porto Maravilha. Inspired by the Copacabana boardwalk and shoreline, a zigzag triangular louver system cuts away to reveal the green roofs. The building will also feature a rainwater capturing system and an on-site wastewater treatment facility. The Trump Towers will add to Rio's skyline and serve as the pinnacle of the massive redevelopment here. Backed by PayPal founder Peter Thiel, this offshore Silicon Valley aims to showcase cutting-edge energy generation and wastewater treatment systems. Not a U.S. citizen? Don't have a visa? No problem. It's intended to be a floating, visa-free incubator for tech startups, with lots of fun activities too. So, if you're an eco-startup, clean tech professional, or green roof go-getter, this could be your dream job. Okay, wow, that was long, but thanks for watching. Please send us your thoughts on what we should include in 2013.
Yeah, and seriously, if there's a project that you know about, maybe one that you've worked on or one that you've seen and you just think is spectacular, let us know because we want to put them in and we'd love to highlight anything that you think that we may have overlooked.
That's right. And, we'd love to see you at some point live, and you can catch us at some of the upcoming Green Roof conferences, Green Roofs for Healthy Cities in San Francisco.
Woohoo!
Yeah.
Little home team going on here.
That's right. World Green Roof Congress in Nantes, France. That'll be cool. And maybe you'll even see us in Hamburg or even China again. You never know. So that's it, everybody, and I hope you enjoyed the virtual summit. Bye.
Thanks for coming.